Today, we have breaking news that has shaken the entire world. A powerful earthquake measuring 7.7 on the Richter scale has hit Southeast Asia, and its effects have been felt by millions of people. So, let's start with the main thing. The earthquake occurred at approximately 13:30 local time. According to the U.S. Geological Survey, its magnitude was 7.7 on the Richter scale, and the epicenter was in Myanmar, near the city of Mandalay, the country's second largest city with a population of over 1 million people. The depth of the epicenter was only 10 kilometers, which made the tremors especially destructive. An aftershock measuring 6 and 4 on the Richter scale followed 12 minutes later, adding chaos to an already tense situation. Although the epicenter was in Myanmar, the tremors reached neighboring countries, including Thailand, China, India, Bangladesh, and Laos. In Bangkok, which is almost 1,400 kilometers from the epicenter, residents felt strong vibrations. High-rise buildings swayed, water splashed out of pools on the roofs of skyscrapers, and panic broke out in some places. People ran out of their homes, offices, and hotels, not understanding what was happening. The most dramatic event in Bangkok was the collapse of a 30-story skyscraper under construction in the Chatuchak district. At the time of the tragedy, hundreds of workers were at the construction site. According to local authorities, dozens of people were under the rubble. Rescuers reported at least 3 deaths in the capital of Thailand, but the exact number of victims is still being clarified. Some sources say that up to 70 people are missing. Rescue work is in full swing, but the situation is complicated by the threat of new tremors. In Myanmar, the consequences are even more catastrophic. In Mandalay, the closest major city to the epicenter, 13 people were reported dead and more than 200 injured. However, data from other sources indicate that the total number of victims in the country has already exceeded 1,000, and the number of injured is more than 2,000. Hundreds of buildings have been destroyed, including historic structures, as well as a bridge over the Irrawaddy River connecting the cities of Sagaing and Ava. Rescuers have warned that the death toll could rise as many areas are still difficult to access due to damaged roads and power lines. Thai authorities reacted quickly. Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra declared Bangkok a state of emergency. The city's subway and airports have been closed, and residents of high-rise buildings have been evacuated to the streets. Eyewitnesses say the tremors were so strong that walls in apartments were cracking and people were screaming in fear. One Bangkok resident said, "I didn't understand what was happening. We had such a strong earthquake about 10 years ago, and I thought the house was going to collapse." In Myanmar, the military junta that runs the country has also declared a state of emergency in 6 regions. Hospitals are overcrowded, there is a shortage of blood for transfusions, and the Red Cross reports extensive damage in Mandalay and Sagaing. Some areas are still out of service due to the ongoing conflict in the country and damaged infrastructure. Experts say this is one of the strongest earthquakes to hit the region in decades. The last time Thailand experienced a similar event was in 1930, when about 500 people died. Scientists are warning that aftershocks are possible in the next 24 hours and are urging residents to stay outdoors and avoid high-rise buildings. The Thai Meteorological Department has already issued a warning of potential further tremors. And now we are approaching Ruili, a border town in Yunnan province that was caught in the crossfire. Ruili is about 400 kilometers from the epicenter, but even at this distance, the tremors were felt. Locals say the ground was literally shaking. Videos taken by eyewitnesses at the time of the earthquake have already appeared online. One of the most touching videos is from the maternity center of Jingcheng Hospital in Ruili. The footage shows 2 nurses, despite panic and swaying walls, rushing to hold the cribs with newborns from falling. It is a moment of true heroism that has touched thousands of people around the world. According to China Central Television, at least 2 people were injured in Ruili, both with minor injuries. Some buildings were damaged, cracks appeared in old houses, and windows were broken in high-rise buildings. In the border areas of the city, plaster crumbled and walls partially collapsed. Fortunately, there was no serious damage in Ruili itself, but residents are still in shock from what happened. What happened next? The authorities of Yunnan province responded immediately. Almost 700 rescuers and 14 search dogs were sent to Ruili to assess the damage and help the victims. As of the evening, more than 1,000 people in the city were recognized as victims of the disaster. These are those whose homes were damaged or who experienced severe stress. Water and electricity supplies are gradually being restored, but in some areas there are still interruptions. Eyewitnesses on social networks write that the tremors in Ruili lasted about 20 seconds, but this was enough to sow panic. One of the ex-users noted, "I was at home, and suddenly everything shook. Cups fell from the shelves. Children screamed. It was like a horror movie." Another resident added that aftershocks followed the main blow, which is why people were afraid to return to their homes and remained outside. Why was this earthquake felt so strongly in Ruili? Yunnan province borders Myanmar and lies in a seismically active zone. Tremors are not uncommon here, but there has not been one of this scale for a long time. For comparison, in 2014, an earthquake measuring 6.5 on the Richter scale in Ludian County killed almost 400 people. This time, Ruili was luckier, but the fact that the tremors reached here from the epicenter in Myanmar speaks to the incredible force of the impact. Why was this earthquake so destructive? Myanmar is located on the Sagang Fault, a seismically active zone. In the past, between 1930 and 1956, there were 6 large tremors measuring over 7 on the Richter scale. But a tremor of this magnitude in a densely populated area is rare. Scientists from the U.S. Geological Survey say the death toll could exceed 10,000 if the destruction is more extensive than it appears now. And the Meteorological Department of Thailand has warned that more aftershocks are possible in the next 24 hours, so it's too early to relax. The situation in Myanmar and neighboring countries remains critical. Rescuers, volunteers, and doctors are doing everything they can to help the victims, but the scale of the tragedy is enormous. We will follow the news and keep you updated. If you have friends or relatives in Myanmar or Thailand, write in the comments how they are doing. Over the past 24 hours, powerful thunderstorms accompanied by heavy rains have hit southern Texas. A month's worth of rain fell in a few hours, which led to a sharp rise in water levels. Cars were completely flooded, water rushed into houses and stores, and residents in a panic sought shelter. Local authorities have already declared a state of emergency, and rescue services are working around the clock, helping to evacuate people from dangerous areas. Eyewitnesses are sharing footage showing how powerful streams of water are sweeping away everything in their path. Road signs, cars, even small buildings cannot withstand the onslaught of the elements. Footage from social networks shows people who have climbed onto the roofs of their houses, waiting for help from rescuers. Experts warn that the water level may continue to rise as the rains do not stop, and the soil is no longer able to absorb moisture. But it is not only residential areas that have suffered. The flood has caused significant damage to the city's infrastructure. Roads have been washed away, public transport is paralyzed, schools and businesses are closed. Many residents have been left without electricity, and emergency services are working at the limit of their capabilities. Volunteer organizations and local residents are uniting to help those who have found themselves in a difficult situation. Forecasters warn, this is not the end. More rain is expected in the next 24 hours, which can only worsen the situation. Residents are urged to take precautions, not to leave their homes unless absolutely necessary, to avoid flooded areas, and to follow the instructions of emergency services. Torrential rains have battered the city of Guayaquil, Ecuador, in recent days, causing chaos and destruction. The city streets have turned into raging torrents of water. Many homes have been flooded, and residents are fleeing their homes in panic. According to the latest figures, 14 people have been killed, 97 injured, and the number of victims has exceeded 76,000. Rescue services are working around the clock, but the situation remains extremely dire. Eyewitnesses are sharing footage showing how powerful streams of water sweep away cars, knock down trees, and destroy buildings. Forecasters warn that the rains in the region will not stop in the coming days. This poses an additional threat to residents, as the soil is already oversaturated with moisture, and further precipitation could lead to even more destruction and landslides. Experts predict that the situation may worsen, and authorities are preparing emergency evacuation plans for the most affected areas. The flood has caused significant damage to the city's infrastructure. Schools, hospitals, and shopping centers have been flooded. In many areas of the city, electricity and water supplies have been cut off, and public transport is almost paralyzed. Volunteers and rescuers are working in an intensified mode, delivering food and essential items to the victims. Local authorities urge residents to take precautions, avoid flooded streets, do not try to cross turbulent streams of water, and, if possible, stay in safe places. Instructions on how to act in flood conditions and where to seek help are being distributed on social networks. Heavy rains fell on Sirampog in central Java, Indonesia overnight. According to the Indonesian Meteorological Service, more than 150 millimeters of rain fell here in 24 hours. This exceeds the monthly norm for this region. As a result, rivers overflowed their banks. Streams of water gushed onto the streets, washed away roads, and flooded houses. According to preliminary data, more than 500 houses were flooded, bridges and roads were damaged, which significantly complicated the evacuation of people. Agricultural lands were underwater, which threatens the food security of the local population. Rescue services are working around the clock, helping to evacuate residents from dangerous areas. Boats, helicopters, and ground rescue teams are being used. The authorities have already deployed temporary accommodation centers for those who have lost their homes. Local residents are sharing footage of the destruction on social networks. Destroyed houses, washed away cars, mountains of mud and stones on the roads. Some people are forced to save themselves on the roofs of houses, waiting for help. Official data on the number of dead and injured is still being clarified. According to the latest reports, there are several missing. Medical services have deployed emergency aid points, where doctors are providing first aid to the victims. The Indonesian president and regional authorities have declared a state of emergency. Additional rescue forces and equipment have been sent to the area. Measures are being developed to prevent further flooding, as forecasters warn of possible further downpours in the coming days. Work is also underway to restore power supply, which was partially disrupted due to broken power lines. Local residents are advised to leave the danger zones and monitor emergency services for announcements. Experts note that the heavy rainfall is the result of climate change, which has increasingly led to extreme weather events in recent years. Developing early warning systems and strengthening coastlines can reduce the damage from such disasters in the future. The Las Vegas Police Department, Nevada, received an unexpected gift: 10 brand new Tesla Cybertrucks. And the most intriguing thing is that the donor wished to remain anonymous. It happened in March of this year, and now Las Vegas cops are driving around in futuristic electric vehicles that look like cars from science fiction. Police representatives say that the Cybertrucks are already being used for patrols and even chases. Their power and armored body are perfect for work in the city of sin. The internet is wondering who this mysterious benefactor is. A millionaire Tesla fan? A secret fan of the police? Or maybe Elon Musk himself decided to joke? It's a mystery for now, but one thing is for sure: the streets of Las Vegas now look cooler than ever. How do you like this turn of events? Today we have a guest from the world of insects, the Bombardier beetle. This little hero of nature reminded us of itself again in March of this year, when scientists from Australia filmed an amazing video of its protection. The Bombardier beetle is a true chemical genius. When attacked, it releases a hot poisonous stream from its abdomen, which literally explodes in the air. The temperature of this shot reaches 100 degrees Celsius, and the sound resembles a mini explosion. Recent studies have shown that the beetle mixes two substances in its body, and this reaction saves it from predators such as frogs and birds. The video of its bombardment became a hit in scientific circles, and entomologists say that this mechanism is an evolutionary miracle. Imagine a tiny beetle, but armed like a tank. How do you like this protection? And finally, let's look directly at the sun. In March 2025, astronomers recorded an incredible spectacle, a giant prominence, which looks like a dance of hot plasma. These are huge emissions of solar matter that wriggle in the magnetic fields of our star. The latest prominence spotted by NASA telescopes stretched for hundreds of thousands of kilometers and was visible even in amateur telescopes. Scientists say that this is due to the peak of solar activity, which is now gaining momentum. Such phenomena are not only beautiful, but can also affect the Earth, cause magnetic storms and communication failures. Photos and videos of this plasma dance have already flooded the internet, and astronomers promise that the coming months will be full of solar surprises. What else do you think the sun will show us? I'm waiting for your ideas in the comments.